Hi guys, I'm Meg from LovenStamps, and I have another sunflowers project to share with you using Celebrate Sunflowers, which is in the annual Stampin' Up! Catalog. But to pair with that, I'm using the Gilded Autumn Suite Collection, which is absolutely gorgeous designer series paper, some really pretty ribbons, just really nice pairing to go with the sunflowers for fall. So the card I'm going to share with you is actually a trifold card. It's a quilted 9 square for layout and then a surprise trifold on the inside. So kind of a really neat layout to use, especially when you're using a small stamp that you want to repeat to have a little bit more oomph, I guess. And then the really fun thing that we're going to do on this card is stamping with bleach. I know, yes, you can use bleach for something other than cleaning, and stamping with it is much preferred. So let's get going, and I will share some important tips for you for stamping with bleach. Okay, so our card base here, like I said, it's going to be for a trifold. So it is 11 inches wide by 4 1/4 inches tall, and you're going to score it at 4 1/4 inches and 8 1/2 inches. And then flip it over, and that gives us our trifold pieces, okay? The piece you're going to put in the center is 4 inches by 4 inches, or 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And what I'm going to do here is go ahead and stamp one of our pretty sunflowers here at the bottom corner of that, and I'm going to stamp another one here on the corner of our inside card, okay, and then go ahead and adhere this. So sometimes you have to forward just a teeny bit. If I reach my finger forward, then I can easily do that. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this inside so we kind of have our card settled for design. All right, now you can go ahead and put this espresso layer on and then put all your pieces on, but because this cardstock wants to open all the time, it's honestly so much easier to set your card base aside and just do all of your design onto your piece. But before we get there, we need to have some pieces to add, right? So I have a piece of Cajun Craze cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp once on here. Okay, because I need to have this ready to go. And you know, I realize I've just done this kind of in reverse order, but that'll be okay. You'll see as we go along. Usually what you want to do is you want to stamp in bleach first and then stamp over it in ink, but we'll see what happens. So bleach, some notes on stamping with bleach. Bleach and your stamps are not friends. They really don't like each other. You can use bleach with them, but you need to rinse them off with lots of water right away. You don't want to saturate the foam that you have on the rubber stamps, but you really do need to make sure that you clean the bleach off very thoroughly after you stamp. So with that being said, let's get to the fun stamping, right? So I have here a bleach, an extra stamp case, and what I've done is I just folded a half a paper towel and poured bleach from a big gallon jug right into the stamp case so that it gets picked up by the paper towel. So the bleach has to be really fresh for you to get the effect that you want. I sometimes use a bleach gel pen. This one I just bought right off the shelf and it's dead already. So too bad for that. But bleach gel pens do exist and they usually work great. I just didn't have this one to show you. So you can use this, and you can use liquid bleach. You basically just need a really nice fresh bleach for this kind of technique. So I have my pieces of cardstock kind of here laid out, and I want to think a little bit ahead of time about what I want to go on these. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a couple with my flower and a couple with my leaf stamp. And so let me go ahead and, I suppose it doesn't really matter, it's going to get bleached out anyway, but I'll go ahead and start with a clean stamp, or a clean-ish stamp. And so then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dip this here in my pad, just really gently. You don't want like gobs of bleach. And then I'm going to stamp on my project. Now, the reason that I have extras here is because I want to make sure that I have images that I really like, and sometimes it helps to like do a stamping off kind of technique. So, oh, one of those was supposed to be leaves. All right, well, here, I'll flip it over and do the leaves on the back. Okay, let's see, I'm gonna go off the edge there. And then I'm gonna stamp some leaves here on a couple of my crumb cake ones, and what the heck, we'll just do one more here on there. Now, what I said before is I need to stamp the bleach here onto my flower. We'll see if we can get it kind of lined up. Close close is good enough. And then I am going to take my 2 stamps and I'm going to go wash them. So I'll be right back. All right, and I've returned. So you can see how much my images here have developed. So that bleach really takes action over time. It's not like an instant process necessarily. And then I have my stamps here ready to go. So the other way you could do this instead of using the bleach pad is that you can use your water painters to pick up bleach from your pad or from the gel pen, and you can brush that right onto your stamp and then go ahead and stamp on your project. So really a number of different ways that you can use this. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna just let these be for a second, and I'm gonna swap out my background paper so that I don't accidentally get bleach on things. When you're working with bleach, just be really sure that be confident about where it is and where you want it to be. Now, this piece I'm going to have to stamp over again in top with the Early Espresso, but I'm going to set that aside for a minute because I want it to be really dry. Now I can start putting some of these other pieces together. So I have 4 pieces of this gorgeous designer series paper with the gold foil on it. These are 1 1/4 inches each, and I'm going to go ahead and position one up here and one here, and then I'm going to flip these 2 to the other side, and I'm going to put one of them here and one of them down here in the middle. Okay, so I'm kind of getting these laid out. And then for our greeting, I'm going to go ahead and stamp just the thanks from this stamp that says thanks a bunch. So I just want that little piece. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink carefully, oops, the wrong half of the word, and I'm going to just nudge that up so that just, can you kind of see there, just the word thanks is inked. And go ahead and pop that on our paper. Okay, so I got that totally crooked, so let's try it one more time, and then I can pick which of the 2 I like better, right? So this, you could use just a little scrap of very vanilla cardstock. This is actually cut with a die from the Stitched Rectangles embossed, or Stitched Rectangles set, which gives you those cute little stitched lines around the edges, and then got much better there. All right, so I'm going to wait. I'm still thinking that needs a little extra time, so I'm going to go ahead and start arranging my pieces here. And when you bleach cardstock, you'll find that every batch of cardstock bleaches just a little bit differently. The way they make the paper is they recycle a lot of the paper pulp, and then they dye it to match the color that they want, which is good, right? We want them to be using recycled paper. And so when they do that, the color base might be a little bit different. So when you bleach out the extra dye, then sometimes you get a different effect at the end. So, all right, so once you've got these set on there, you kind of figure out your spacing, and the cardstock piece that you are probably curious about is the Espresso, and it is 4 by 4 inches. So I'm going to come back and start sticking these guys on one at a time, and kind of keep all your pieces in line. I like to start at the outside and kind of work my corners, and then I come back into the center to place those. So when you're stamping with bleach, just know that you might need to grab a piece of cardstock from a different package if you're finding that the color that is bleaching out isn't what you expected. Just know that it's not necessarily your bleach that's wrong. It could just be that the cardstock itself is dyed from a different base, so you might need to swap it out. Okay, I'll go with the center next. All right, and then I'm going to go back and add these 4 edges here. So this is a fun way, like I said, to use stamp sets that don't have a ton of big images. This one does have a big image that's absolutely beautiful, but it's a nice way to group some of the smaller images so that you get a bigger effect from them. So think about this kind of 9 square layout for some of your small stamps projects. Okay, I have 1 extra piece here, and I think we're probably good, and I've got my stamp that's all super clean, and I'm going to go ahead and ink it up in Early Espresso over the top. And you can see it actually worked out kind of cool that there's a little bit of ink underneath also. So I have ink and then my bleached layer, and then I'm going to stamp this right over the top. And there we have our shape. So I realize that this looks a little crazy right now, but honestly, when I cut it with the die, it's going to define those edges, and it's going to give us a lot of really cool texture. So, but we'll still be able to see pretty well our fun image. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which is available now for Demonstrator pre-order during the month of August. If you are you have to have one, know that you can sign up. You can join my LovenStamps Demonstrator team, and you can even get the machine as part of your Demonstrator starter kit at a discount, because it's $99 and you pick out $125 worth of product. So make sure you check my website for more information about that, or ask me. I've had several people already do that because they're so excited to get this machine. All right, there we go. So I have die cut my piece now, and this is the flower that's going to go on the front of our card. And we have our thanks that's going to go right here. So let's go ahead, we'll put our thanks over here. No need to tell anybody that I managed to kind of make it crooked on the back. And then one of the additions for this project is a really pretty piece of this mint braided trim, which comes from the Gilded Autumn Designers, or Gilded Autumn Suite collection. This really cool metallic ribbon, and then our Very Pretty ribbon here to go with it. So, oh, I think I'm going this direction. So I'm going to go ahead and pop a Stampin' Dimensional here on the back of my vellum, because it's going to be hidden, so I don't have to worry too much about that. And I'm going to pop this up a little. And then I'm going to use an edge piece from my Stampin' Dimensionals to hold my ribbon on the back of my flower. Okay, so that's a neat trick there for doing that. And I'm going to trim my ribbon. I don't want it to stick out quite so much. Okay, and I'm going to pop this here on the front of our card. All right, oh, we don't even have a card yet. We need to go ahead and mount this. So two things left. One, adding our card front to our card, like so. I am in love with these colors. They're so pretty for fall. And then finally adding some of the gilded gems to our card. And I love to just pop two of these on the side here of our sunflower, just for a really pretty effect. So stamping with bleach, right? Skip the cleaning, use your bleach only for stamping. You will have to get fresh bleach every once in a while just to make sure you have a really good, powerful one to get some nice stamped images, but know that your cleaning supplies have more uses than just cleaning. So, all right, with that, there are 4 projects in my tutorials for this month using the Gilded Autumn Designer Series paper, and let's see, I'm missing one, and the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set. So the tutorial directions are printable for these. They're free with any order in my online store at LovenStamps.com/shop. Make sure you're shopping with me, Meg Loven, and you will get that by email within a couple days after your order goes through. So if you want to get projects in the mail to actually stamp 2 of these projects, the Extended Z-Fold and the DSP card base card, will come to your mailbox. So you'll need to provide your own stamps and inks, but the pre-cut pieces will be all included, the embellishments, the gems, and the metallic cardstock and all those things. And those are for anyone who places a $50 or more order before shipping and tax in my online store during the month of August. So if you have any questions about LovenStamps card kits to go or monthly tutorials, give me a holler. You can sign up for my newsletter list on my website at LovenStamps.com, and make sure you don't miss any announcements about upcoming specials and other projects. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more stamping projects with you soon. Happy stamping!